Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome back to episode 2 of SevTech Ages. Based on where we left off last episode, you'll remember we had some like not machines, but like crafting tables and stuff down. So I've picked up basically anything of remote value here and we are ready to make our 1,000-ish block journey to the Darklands. So assuming we're somewhere near 00, this is like 1,200-ish blocks away. And I don't have a horse or anything to help me get there, so we're just gonna trek it by foot. Let's actually remember that there is a Shoggoth lair pretty close to our first base here. So if I ever have to find it again, I can just, follow that death compass here. Because I think Age 1 involves some abyssal craft stuff, which I personally dislike, but I don't know. One of those things, you have to do it to enjoy the rest of the pack, right? Anyways, I am not very good at Minecraft parkour. I anticipate this will hopefully be an uneventful journey. So how about we'll just cut here and I'll see you either when I reach the other side or when I get hung up somewhere. Hey, we found a little vanilla wolf. Let's tame him. Come with me, buddy. You have any friends around? Hey, come with me, buddy. Vanilla wolves are pretty good. They'll help defend you. I think they're useful for pulling like those horse-powered machines. So we found a nice pack of 5 wolves. Hopefully, seeing as nighttime is about to fall, they can help me if I get ambushed. Although perhaps more realistically, I'll get ambushed by a creeper and they'll all get blown up by it. But oh well. Anyways, continuing on our journey. Hey, Wolfie, come here. Thank you, Wolf. 2 bones left. Oh, that's all I get. Alright, see you on the other side. Alright, it took most of the night to get here, but there was one creeper explosion, and it looks like we lost a few wolves along the way, but we made it. These are the Darklands oak trees that we're specifically after to make those tier 2 chests. And we have to kill some stuff around here. So the other thing that we're looking for here in this Darklands biome are those like small overworld abyssal craft mobs. What's this? Is this marble or salt? Those mobs, they drop like the Darklands crystals, whatever, abyssal shards, and we need those to make one of the items that gate us out of tier 1. Call that a strategic mining explosion. So yeah, those guys, I think, right here. Or at least it's abyssal zombies, I'm not quite sure. But we have to kill you anyways. Get them, boys. So while it's nighttime here, we'll just kill some of these. And then when day breaks, we'll at least look like they only drop flesh, which isn't what we want. These guys maybe drop it? Pete? Nope. But just killing some mobs. Be back when it's daytime. While looking around the Darklands biome, which I think is right over there, I found this guy. A librarian. So he trades 6 feathers and 12 ink sacks for a empty atlas. And the atlas will serve as basically our tier 1 map. So I already have the feathers. Let's go kill some squids. I think there's conveniently water right here. So let's hop down there, hopefully without taking damage. Oh, our poor wolves take some damage. And we'll go kill us some squids and steppe wolves if they get in our way. Actually, don't see any squid. But yeah, once I gather up, I think, what was it, 12 ink sacks, we can go get ourselves a map. And while it's not a terribly good map, it beats having nothing, right? So I'll be back once we gather up the ink sacks. Alright, I went and gathered up the ink sacks, and I think I found a place that we'll call home. This here has one of my favorite features, and that is flat terrain. We'll probably end up building into the cave sides a little bit, but for those of you that have watched my Omni Factory series earlier, don't expect any great and wonderful builds out of me. But if this is what we're calling home, we can have our dojis sit down. They don't have to follow us anymore, and I'll just put some stuff down here so that I have a little bit of inventory space. We can move them to exactly where we want them, you know, later down the road, but for now, I think I'm going to head back to that village and trade for a couple atlases. Alright, we're back at the village. I swear I locked that guy up in the house, and then I realized he could just walk out through there. But let's bump this guy into this house so we can lock him in there. It's for his own safety, of course. I'm not kidnapping them or anything. Nope, for your own safety, buddy. And we'll go buy a couple of these. So I think after you buy one, you get the crafting recipe to make more. But I like having a second one just as a backup in case I die and lose the first one or whatever. Do I? No, I don't learn how to make more. Okay, so I guess it's good that I gathered materials to buy two then. Can I jump into the water from here? Not quite. So anyways, when you right click this, it becomes not an empty atlas. I think what you can do is craft them together, yeah, to duplicate it. And now that these two are both number zeros, they'll all, you know, even if I, basically wherever I go with one, it'll map it, and then it'll reflect on the other one. So I can keep one in the base as a backup in case I die. Anyway, so now we have, while we hold it open, we have that map. I don't think we get to, yeah, so we can right click it, or we can right click the items to get the big map that we can like zoom around and stuff. We can add waypoints, but I don't think we can zoom that mini map. Can we? Let's check. Doesn't look, wait. What would it be under? Well, whatever, I'll look for it later. Is this on auto? Let's switch that to large so that it... Anyways, so what we can do, I guess my push to talk key pans the map. So our base is around here somewhere. So we can, when we get back there, we can add a mini or a marker, and this will serve as our mapping mod for the first, I don't know, I think age 2 or age 3 is when we unlock journey map. But until then, this will serve as our mapping mod. So we'll have to get used to it. And one thing, all these rock samples in rivers will always be ore samples. So always leave them there until you can, until you can tell what type of ore they are. And later we'll come back and harvest them if it's, if it's something that we need. So here's home. More or less. So let's set a waypoint. And we get to choose what it looks like. And of course home has to look like home. Alright. So now that it's nighttime again, I think I will, while it's nighttime, I'll prioritize hunting shadow gems, because we need a significant number of those to advance to age 1. And while it's daytime, I'll just work towards progressing elsewhere. I think leather, maybe, and getting into the totemic stuff will be our next goal. So I'm just going to hunt through the night and see how many gems we get. So I found a couple of these very large monsters. I think they're called like abyssal shadow beasts. But as you can see, they really mess me up, and I really don't want to die. But I really want their drops, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do, but hopefully I can kite them well enough to not die. That would be the start. I hope that... Oh god, what's killing me? Save me, dogs! Alright, dogs. I'm gonna need you to step up on this one. Because I think these guys can drop full abyssal shards or whatever. So they're very, very valuable to kill, but they're also very difficult to kill without melee weapons. or without range weapons. Get them, dogs. No, don't knock them towards me. Yeah. Good dogs. There we go. So yeah, they dropped an entire shadow gem. Which, despite being a little bit dangerous to fight, I think makes it worth it. And where'd the other one die? It was over here somewhere? I want his shadow gem too if he dropped one. So now we have 2 shadow gems, and these are used to make these flame grilled whoppers, which are basically like flame hoppers. Cool, so I'm glad we got those out of the way pretty early. Let's take a look at, now that it's day, let's take a look at our quest log. So we've done that. Let's build a little bit of storage. So what does it take to make, are they called crates? No, they're chests. Advanced primal chest. So it's a bunch of bark, a bunch of wood, and a bunch of normal chests. Okay. Let's start by making a couple chests to put our stuff down, and then I'm just going to go, I guess, make a new axe and chop some trees. Alright, I think it's time that we went ahead and built some real chests. So let's go ahead and start by making these fake chests. I'm not sure if I've really showed how these work yet. You put them down in the world, and then you just like come over and right-click items into it to put them in there. And then you right-click again to take it out. There's also a mod where if you shift right-click most tile entities, you can carry them. But you know, if I think that applies to most passive mobs as well, so I can pick up sheep. Hi, sheep. But anyways, chests. So these are our tier 1 chests. They hold, what, like 12 items, I think? 4 by 3, so 12 stacks of items. We can upgrade them into tier 2 chests by, let's see, so it's Darklands wood and any wood. I also upgraded our crafting stump to Mark II so that it can hold, you know, more items. And I forget which items went where. Alright, so it's Darklands wood in the corners, regular wood on the sides. Do I have enough regular wood? Doesn't look like it. I think I'm allowed to use Darklands wood on the sides too, so we'll just do that. As you can see, these things take a lot of wood to make. And this chest, I think, is actually a downgrade in terms of number of item slots. Or maybe it's barely an upgrade. Let's see after we make them. So these, when you put them down, they have 9 slots, I believe. So it's a 1 slot upgrade. But then you also don't have to do that stupid clicking in behavior. But we can upgrade them to these by just surrounding them with bark. And we got bark by if you put a log in the world and then right click it with the work blade, you can get some bark. So oh, look at the doggy shake the water off. Anyways, this spruce bark came from some trees over there. So once again, hit it with our crafting rock. And I think these will be the storage we use for now. I think these have like 2 rows of 9. Row of 9 plus a row of 5. So they kind of still suck. They totally suck. I think there's one more upgrade available though, and that is to upgrade them into carts. And carts can, well, for one, they can be like dragged around and stuff, but they can also serve as storage. I think cart is the one we want. So carts take wheels, slabs, 2 chests, some wood. Wheel is, okay, so if we make 4 carts, that's 8 wheels, 32 sticks, and some wood. Do I have 32 sticks? I do. Can I make wheels out of this, though? The rules for what can and cannot be made out of certain woods is a little, I don't know, confusing, but I hope I can. Alright, there we go. I just noticed you get a little bit of EXP each time you craft with this stupid crafting stump. So that's our wheels. We have chests. We need some more wood and some slabs. Does that make... oh, it makes 3. I need 4. So that should do it. Oops, that's not it. I left my... whoa, what blew up? Come on, guys. Don't worry about it. And my rock broke. So, backup rock. It's nice that the Mark II stump has a slot for you to store your rock in. Anyways, so these, when we place them, let's just put them over here for now. They're pretty large and unwieldy, but you can kind of like get them to clip into each other. And I think when you, when you shift right click, well, here, let's clip this one into its neighbor a little bit more. When you shift right click them, they each have a double chest worth of storage. Cool, right? So let's get rid of that rock. And maybe I can make some signs to label what I'm going to put in them. That's easy enough. Do we have the sign editing mod? That put me in the cart. We do, nice. One of my favorite mods. Very nice quality of life mod. Anyways, I'm gonna go sort my inventory out a little bit, get a little organized, and come right back. So now that we've gotten situated in our new place, I think the next task is definitely leather. So leather, as I've said before, is a pretty involved process. Let's work backwards. So to make leather, you dry wet tan leather for 2 minutes. To make wet tan leather, you need to combine a fluid bladder, which is like a basically like a water skin, with some ground resin and dried hide. So ground resin means we have to put the bark, I think, that we've had through a grindstone. I wonder, can we make this yet? We can. So maybe we should also set up some horse-powered machines for automation, even if it's like semi-automation. But anyways, back to leather. So ground resin, bladder of water, and dried hide. Dried hide requires, again, drying on the drying rack. Salted hide for 2 minutes, which is a piece of salt, another fluid bladder, and a rawhide. The rawhide is made by using a work blade with the various animal pelts. And you get, depending on the animal, 1 or more hides. So let's get started on that process. How many animal skins do we have? We have 5 pigs. Let's actually go and slaughter some more animals then. I kind of want to keep some of the nearby ones just because they're nearby. So let's go for a little trip. Well, we don't need off-colored sheep, right? I think generally speaking, I like to stick with white wool, so sorry, not sorry, off-color sheep. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go slaughter some innocent animals for their hides, and I'll be back when that's done. Alright, and we're back. I've hunted some animals, some pigs, some sheep, some cows. So let's start by cutting their hides into raw hides. And this makes over a stack. Perfect. I was hoping to do 1 stack of hides at a time. So let's also make a stack of drying racks then. How do you even make these? 3 slabs make 1, so this is 3 stacks of wood. Well then, I'm gonna need to go cut some trees. Tree cutting time. Be right back. Alright, I made and hung up 64 drying racks. They're made of 2 different materials, so it looks a little awful, but then again, so does everything I build. So, we have our drying racks. I also went ahead and made, 6 fluid bladders. Ground up some resin, got some salt. So I think we're ready to begin crafting hides. Now, interestingly, if I grab water like from here, I can't put that back, can I? If I take water from somewhere that is not a water biome, that is river or ocean, it actually won't replenish. So I want to go slightly out into here, and I hope that this actually is a water biome. Nope, turns out it isn't. Awkward. I'll probably want to build a bridge out to here at some point to somewhere where the water is infinite. Infinite water? Still not infinite water. Let's go build that bridge now, and then we'll just deal with the fact that it's probably going to be rather unsightly. But I want to get out far enough where the water is infinite. However, I don't think I can check the biome. Right? It's not shown here, is it? No, it is not. So, yeah, without a way to check the biome, I just have to randomly sample the water and see if it is infinite. Get a little bit more dirt. Digging that hole out took a remarkably long time because the best tools I have are stone tools, which, believe it or not, are not very fast. So hopefully if I get far enough out here, it'll eventually become like a river or ocean. This is probably swamp. I guess if it's swamp, it'll be a ways before the water becomes infinite. Maybe I should go that way. Right, because at some point that'll become a river over there. Oh. Does mud spread onto dirt? I hope not. Because I don't want this whole path to turn into mud. Alright, is this river yet? Yes, it is. Perfect. So, what I'm planning on doing is, with 6 fluid bladders, fill all 6, then craft them like so. Do this 64 times until I have all of these hides salted. And then rinse and repeat. So I'll just cut here and come back when I'm done crafting these salted hides. Alright, here is the last of the salted hides. So the next step is to take these over to our drying racks and hang them up to dry. I think it takes about 2 minutes, so it'll take me a good 30 seconds to swim over there. But once that's done, the next step then involves more of the water skin business. So let's hang these up. Maybe I didn't need to make the full 64 drying racks, but whatever. So this will take it probably another minute, minute and a half. I'll be back when it's done. Alright, they're done drying, so it's time to pick them up. This process is pretty tedious and it can be automated with like hoppers and stuff. And maybe at some point I'll do that, but what I'm actually thinking is if we just make, run hand batches for long enough, starting in, I believe it's age 2, one of the astral sorcery rituals can make this process much simpler. I wonder if this over here is already river biome. I suspect it is. Yeah, okay, so I don't have to go all the way over there. That's good. So we have, let's see, the next step then is to make tan hide, which I think I have all the components for now. So we're just gonna repeat this process. And I'm not gonna make you sit through me clicking 60 odd times. Alright, and here is the last of the wet tan hides. This storm just became a thunderstorm, so I'm hoping we don't get like randomly charged creepered or something, but I've lit up the area a little bit, so hopefully that'll be enough to keep the mobs off our back. But let's set these up to dry. And I'll be done when they're done drying. And our first batch of leather is done, so let's pick it up. And the first couple things I want to make with this is sleeping bags and other, sleeping accessories, so that we can sleep the night away now. And we can also sleep this storm away. So once I'm done picking this up, that's what we'll do. We can make leather armor, but I think I'm going to make do for now with this wolf stuff that I just get off mob drops. So because leather's kind of a pain to make, I don't want to really waste it on armor per se. I know it's not truly wasted, but we don't really need it. Let's start by making ourselves a sleeping bag. Sleeping bags in this pack are pretty cool. They can either, you know how normally sleeping bags don't set your spawn point? Well, I believe in here you have the option of either making them set or not set spawn point. But they only have a certain number of uses, 25 uses. So by by right-clicking it, you can tell it whether or not you want it to set spawn point. So we can now sleep this storm away and set our spawn point. There we go, it's daytime, storm's gone. The other thing I want to make is I believe that's what it's called, a teepee, which is 4 sticks and 5 leather. And this just acts as a big reusable bed that doesn't use durability. So I suppose I didn't have to use that durability on my sleeping bag, but whatever. So let's put our teepee right on the water because we are sophisticated like that. And yeah, you can just sleep in it, but it's a bed for all practical intents and purposes. So here we have it, some of our first sleep the night away infrastructure. So what else can we make? We can now make leads, which will lead us into horse-powered stuff. But I think I want to get into Totemic and get access to some of their rituals next. So is there a Totemic book by chance? Totempedia, which is plant cloth and a sapling. That's easy enough. So 9 plants, twine. And I need a sapling. Come on, give me that sapling. And this should give us a Totempedia, which is the documentation on the Totemic mod. So what we want are... Well, let's see what the quest book wants us to do first. It wants us to make a rattle, flute, and drum. Alright? So a rattle is jingles, sugarcane, bones, and a stick. That's easy enough. 1, 2, 3 sugarcane. 4 sugarcane, whatever. I need some bones. So if I recall, it's 3 bones, 3 sugarcane. And a stick. So these musical instruments are the ones we'll need to actually do the rituals. So that's a rattle. What else was there? I think like a jingle and a flute or something. A flute and a drum. So we'll need a flute, which is 3 sugar canes and a grass. Can I shears? Wait, flint shears. Okay. Flint, meat, wall. Come on, flint. Alright, and a twine to make shears. All this crafting, running around is pretty tiring, I'll be honest. I think the fact that I just have to right-click all these stupid items into this stupid crafting table makes me feel very, it's very lethargic. But soon enough we'll get, oops, is that not the recipe? Light flint, is that the, no, that's the right one. Plant twine. That's not a plant twine. That's a plant fiber. That's a plant twine. Alright, let's find a grass. Apparently I've broken all the tall grass in the area already. Does it grow back? Looks like it will, right? Huh, interesting. Oh, it doesn't even use durability. Good to know. We can put this away. I've already forgotten what I needed this for. Loot? Yep, so I need a bit more sugarcane. Out of curiosity, do we have snad? If we do, we don't have it yet. So 3 sugarcane and a grass makes a flute. And then we need drums. So we'll need more than one of these. We may as well just make like, I don't know, let's say 7 right now. A nice number, right? It looks like I have to cut some wood. So I'll go chop some wood and then make the flute, and we'll come back when that's done. Or the drum, that is. Alright, so I went ahead and made us those drums. But before we start looking at totemic rituals, let me show you how these totem poles work. So if I make a tower here, and I have a totem carving knife here, what I want to do is make a tower of wood. Basically, it's like a tree if you took the leaves away. The bottom one you want to carve as totem base, and then the rest, depending on what you carve it as, you just shift scroll wheel to change. You get different effects. And they work kind of, think of it as like a miniature beacon. So by carving Enderman there, we now gain night vision. And the list of effects can be found in the book. So what I want is night vision so I can see at night if I'm working at night. And there's one that makes you faster, horse. So I want to sprinkle these throughout the base just to make it a little easier to get around. So that's Enderman. Let me scroll over to horse. It's not a horse. There we go. And by stacking more of them, you get a higher level of the buff. So this is speed 2. And I think if I go 3 more horses, I can upgrade that into speed 3. There we go. And then I can go into Optifine and turn off dynamic FOVs so that I don't go insane from having this buff. But you can tell I'm moving a little faster. So let me turn off dynamic FOV so that we can compare better. Alright, so here we are with dynamic FOV off. This is how fast we walk with the totem buff. And then if we go a little ways away, it should fall off. And you can see there where we suddenly started slowing down. That was when the buff wore off, and now our night vision is about to wear off. Everything's about to turn dark. And then when we get back in range of this totem, we should get our night vision back. There we go. And we get our speed back. So yeah, the range again isn't that big, so we'll need like 6 or 7 of these. Or I mean, I think it's like 6 or 7 blocks. I guess let's find out exactly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, it's at 8 blocks out. We are no longer getting our buff refreshed. So 7, 6. Dang, the range is smaller than I thought. So is it 6? Something like that. If I go one more, it doesn't refresh. So they only have a 6 block range. Let's count that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 plus a center, which means it's a 13 by 13. So I'm going to sprinkle a couple of these throughout the base just for convenience. The next thing though, after I do that, let's look into these totemic rituals. So a few that the guidebook recommends. There's one that we can use to turn cows into buffalo, and buffalo give buffalo hide and buffalo teeth, which are crafting ingredients. But I think the one I'm slightly more interested in doing, at least in the short term, is this Rite of Spring, which will be a way that we can breed animals more easily. I think we just have to drop the food near them to breed them. And if we look in the book, there's a couple more rituals we can do. I think they're called ceremonies. So we already talked about the ritual of spring. The Zapkeel waltz we can use to turn eggs into chickens at 100% hatch rate. The number of music notes here kind of determines like the difficulty of it. Although my understanding is it should be pretty easy to do any of these rituals now, with changes that were made in a recent patch to this mod pack. So we can make the rain start or stop. What does this do? I think that this can infuse a flute to make it an upgraded flute. So we should do this at some point to upgrade our flute. In fact, let's do that right now so I can show you how these rituals work. So what instruments does it take? A rattle and a flute. So let's just use this totem pole to do any of these ceremonies. You start by putting down your instruments. So, and then you take, let's see, so rattle, flute, and I think what you want to do is kind of trying to work off memory here. I think you sneak while playing the flute, then the rattle to begin the ritual. So sneak. Yep, and then you just have to play all these instruments enough times that you can succeed in the ritual. And my trick is kind of you put one instrument in one hand, one in the other, hold down both mouse buttons, and just start hitting drums. There are some, you see how the drums are producing white smoke now? I think that means we've reached a limit for drums, and drums will no longer produce that top music bar resource. So it looks like we don't quite have enough music producers to complete this. Right? Just playing these two isn't going to be enough, and we've already fallen behind the timer. So, to work around this, there's a couple more music producers we can make. So let's make those real quick. I think one of them is the jingle dress. So the jingle dress, you just wear it, and by shuffling around, by moving around, you can produce a little bit of music. So let's make one of these. It takes some jingles and some string. Okay. And what is this? Sticks and bones, or reeds and bones. Did I do it upside down? I probably did. Alright, so now we have a jingle dress. All we have to do is wear it in our dress slot, or our pants slot, and then we produce a little bit of music just by walking around. I think there's another thing we can make called the wind chime. And this also just, I think, passively produces like that music. So there's also the staff. But for now, let's see if just by adding the jingle dress, if we have enough to complete this ritual. So it's flute, then rattle. Where is my flute? So here we are. Now our drums are producing that white smoke, which means they're done. So we don't have to drum anymore. And as long as we don't run out of, if we don't hit the limit for our other instruments, we should be good. And you see there's white smoke showing up again. We've hit the limit on one of our other instruments. Either the rattle, the flute, or the dress. And oh no, it looks like we've hit the limit on all of them. So we need one more source of musical power to be able to do the serenade of the strings. So I guess it's time to go make... Let's go make these, the wind chimes, because they're pretty easy. We only have 2 string, unfortunately. Is there an easy way to get string? Yeah, from fleece. Perfect. Alright, so here we are, wind chimes, string, flint, sugarcane, and bones. Alright. We appear to not have any flint. Now we have flint. Alright, this might take a bit of crafting, so I'll be back when we're done making them. Alright, we have 3 more wind chimes. So I think they produce the most music if you hang them off leaves. Specifically cedar leaves is what I've heard, but we don't have cedar saplings yet. So we'll make do just with these are simple oak leaves that I stole from an oak tree. So let's try that again. So it's flute, rattle. And then we just hold all our buttons down and do the thing. I don't think we have to click those. Alright, drums are done. And hopefully you hear that little bit of chiming. Hopefully the wind chimes will produce just enough to push us over the top. And we don't have to make any other instruments. Hey, look at that. And now our flute has been upgraded to a Pam's flute, which for all practical intents and purposes is the same as a regular flute. Like it can produce music and all that stuff, but we can also use it to attract animals. So if we come here and just do this, I think it'll get the sheep's attention. No, maybe? Irresistible to animals and villagers. Hello, sheep. There we go. So if you just right click it, not shift right click, you'll be able to lure passive animals. It's not so useful on stuff like sheep because you can just carry them. But for stuff like cows specifically, which you cannot carry, or villagers, which you cannot carry, if you want to lead them over, it's good to have one of these. So I think before I can really dive into most of these other rituals, we need a collection of animals. And that's mostly just going to be me running out there, running out into the wilderness and then either carrying them back or leading them back. So what I'm thinking is we can end episode 2 here. Mostly what we did this episode is really just leather and dip our toes into Totemic. But between episodes, I'll go ahead and gather up a pen full of some animals, some sheep, some cows, some chickens, maybe some horses or something. And then we can dive into the rest of what Totemic has to offer us in the next episode. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. We're starting to, get our feet wet here into the real mods in the pack, and hopefully soon we'll start, be able to dive deep into a lot of these features. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.